I let everybody on Twitter post 1,000 or 10,000 Satoshis via a Lightning wallet, a Lightning badge. Give me an orange check. If you put up $20 once in your life, you could give 300 million people an orange check. Right now, you don't have a blue check, Lex. You're a famous person. I don't know why you don't have a blue check. Have you ever applied for a blue check?
No.
There are 360,000 people on Twitter with a blue check. There are 300 million people on Twitter. Mm-hmm. So the conventional way to verify accounts is elitist, archaic.
Yeah, how does it work? How do you get a blue check? I mean,
you got to apply and wait 6 months, and you have to post, like 3 articles in the public mainstream media that illustrates you're a person of interest.
Interesting.
Generally, they would grant them to CEOs of public companies, or the whole idea is to verify that, that you are
who you are,
who you say you are.
Right.
But the question is, why isn't everybody verified?
Right.
And there's a couple of threads on that. One is some people don't want to be doxxed; they want to be anonymous.
Sure.
But there are even anonymous people that should be verified.
Right.
Because otherwise, you're subjecting their entire following to phishing attacks and scams and hostility. But the other.
What's the orange verification? So this idea, can you actually elaborate a little bit more? If you put up $20.
Yeah, I think everybody on Twitter ought to be able to get an orange check if they could come up with like $10.
And what is the power of that orange check? What does that verify exactly?
You basically post a security deposit for your safe passage through cyberspace. So the way it would work is if you've got $10 once in your life, you can basically show that you're credit worthy. And that's your pledge to me that you're going to act responsibly. So you put the $10 or the $20 into the Lightning wallet, you get an orange check. Then Twitter just gives you a setting where I can say the only people that can DM me are orange checks. The only people that can post on my tweets are orange checks. So instead of locking out the public and just letting your followers, comment, you lock out all the unverified. And that means people that don't want to post $10 security deposit can't comment. Once you've done those two things, then you're in a position to monetize malice, right? Monetize motion or malice for that matter. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, you post something and 9,700 bots spin up, and pitch their whatever scam. Right now, you sit and you go report. And if you spend an hour, you get through half of them. You waste an hour of your life. They just spin up another 97 gazillion because they've got a Python script spinning it up. So it's hopeless. But on the other hand, if you report them and they really are a bot, Twitter's got a method to actually delete the account. They know that they're bots. The problem is not they don't know how to delete the account. The problem is there are no consequences when they delete the account. So if there are consequences, Twitter could they could just seize the $10 or seize the $20 because it's a bot. It's a malicious criminal act or whatever. It is a violation of the platform rules. You end up seizing $10,000, give half the money to the reporter and half the money to the Twitter platform. And
it's a really powerful idea, but that's tying it, that's adding friction akin to the kind of friction you have in the physical world. You have consequences, you have real consequences.
It's putting conservation of energy.
Conservation of energy.
There's no friction, there's no nothing on this earth, right? I mean, you can't walk across the room without friction, right? So friction is not bad, right? Unnecessary friction is bad. So in this particular case, you're introducing conservation of energy, and in essence, you're introducing the concept of consequence or truth into cyberspace. And that means if you do want to spin up 10 million fake Les Fridmans, right? It's going to cost you $100 million to spin up 10 million fake Lexes.
But the thing is, you could do that with the dollar, but your case, you're saying that it's more tied to physical reality when you do that with Bitcoin.
Yeah, well, let's follow up on that idea a bit more. If you did do it with the dollar, then the question is, how do 6 billion people deposit the dollars? right? Because what you're doing is, yeah, could you do it with a credit card? Like, how do you send dollars? Well, you have to dox yourself. It's not
It's
easy.
true.
So you're talking about inputting a credit card transaction, doxing yourself, and now you've just eliminated the 2 billion people that don't have credit cards or don't have banks. You've also got a problem with everybody that wants to remain anonymous. But you've also got this other problem, which is credit cards are expensive transactions, low frequency, slow settlement. So do you really want to pay 2.5% every time you actually show a $20 deposit? And maybe you could do a kludgy version of this for a subset of people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's 10% as good if you did it with conventional payment rails. But what you can't do is the next idea, which is I want the orange badge to be used to give me safe passage through cyberspace, tripping across every platform. So how do I solve the denial of service attacks against a website? I publish a website, you hit it with 1 million requests. Okay, now how do I deal with that? Well, I can lock you out and I can make it a zero trust website, and then you have to be coming at me through a trusted firewall or with a trusted credential, but that's a pretty draconian thing. Or I could put it behind a lightning wall. A lightning wall would be, I just challenge you, Lex. You want to browse my website, you have to show me your 100,000 Satoshis. Do you have 100,000 Satoshis? Click. Okay. Now you click away 100 times or 1,000 times. And after 1,000 times, I'm like, well, now Lex, you're getting offensive. I'm going to take a Satoshi from you or 10 Satoshis, a micro transaction. You want to hit me 1 million times? I'm taking all your Satoshis and locking you out. What you want to do is you want to go through 200 websites a day. And what you want, every time you cross a domain, you need to be able to, in a split second, prove that you've got some asset. And now when you cross back, when you exit domain, you want to fetch your asset back. So how do I, in a friction-free fashion, browse through dozens or hundreds of websites, post a security deposit for safe passage, and then get it back? You couldn't afford to pay a credit card fee each time. When you think about 2.5% as a transaction fee, it means you trade the money 40 times and it's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah. So you can't do this kind of hopping around through the internet with this kind of verification that grounds you to physical reality. It's a really, really interesting idea. Why hasn't that been done?
I think you need two things. You need an idea like a digital asset like Bitcoin that's a bearer instrument for final settlement. And then you need a high-speed transaction network like Lightning, where the transaction cost might be 1/20 of a penny or less. Mm-hmm. And if you roll the clock back 24 months, I don't think you had the Lightning network in a stable point. It's really just the past 12 months. It's an idea you could think about this year, and I think you need to be aware of Bitcoin as something other than like a scary speculative asset.